Hey everyone, I'm Charlotte and here is episode 10, continuing a 100-day challenge. So in the previous video, I actually was in the last stretch of the challenge when recording it. So this video is being recorded after I finished the 100-day challenge. I wanted to record everything before all of the knowledge that I received from the challenge goes into the back of my mind, right? So before we get into what we learned, the piece we see on screen is a favorite because it was the first time I experimented with artificial lighting to the extent that I did. In the sense, even though I did experiment with artificial lighting, I would always ensure that the skin tones reflected a person's normal skin tone. But with this, it really went the other way where I was like, we will learn how artificial lighting works. And it was a fun time learning about that. But yeah, coming back to what we learned from the challenge itself. As I mentioned in the previous video, at least I touched upon, is that from the course of creating all these pieces regularly, it helped me to create with intention. In the sense that it helped in understanding what I wanted to create and how I wanted to create it and why create that piece in the first place. So in that sense, they were honest pieces. And I wouldn't call my previous work dishonest, but as a beginner, you're really absorbing everything from other artists, from everything that you see on social media in real life, and you try to inculcate that into your art. And in that process, it becomes really similar to someone's work in particular, or it might just reflect one dominant ideal over a lot of other things. And so to be clear with the purpose of why you create can get lost in the process. And that's why in the beginning it was hard. And it's a phase that everyone goes through. But through the course of this challenge, I could stick to the intent and create with the purpose throughout. And that's what made a sharp difference. And I'm glad, honestly, because it helped as a confidence booster. And at the same time, it also helped in overcoming a huge part of imposter syndrome that every creative faces, right? And I'm not saying that I don't go through imposter syndrome now. Definitely I do. But the immensity of it has reduced, and it's good because you can look back at a piece and think it's a decent piece. It's not that bad. And I'm not joking when I say that I genuinely am content with the pieces that I created, because the piece that you currently see on screen, the end result, I'm not very fond of because it was overly blended and it wasn't really something that fit my style. It's not noticeable to the general audience, but I don't like this piece. Regardless, I do have an odd nostalgic memory of it because it helps in narrowing down what a unique art style mine is and what I like and what I don't like. So in that sense, right, only because of constant experimentation and trial and error, these things were possible. And another thing is, towards the end of 2024, I printed out a bunch of my work and I stuck it upon my wall. And to be completely honest, there is contentment with it. And that's when you know that the imposter syndrome has drastically reduced. That was the point I was going for, right? And at the same time, I learned how to manage more than two passion projects, more than two projects to say the least. So while I don't share what I do on a day-to-day basis much, apart from the art itself, there was a lot on my plate during the course of the 100-day challenge. So while I was editing for the challenge itself or creating new pieces, at the same time I was also working on the novel, on the comic series, and obviously those two projects themselves have different additional components to them. At the same time, I was also working on some freelance work with regard to digital art, cover design, and other things, while also balancing university and trying to have a good social life. So those were all the things that were happening while trying to also have a 100-day challenge. I remember how multiple times I'd go up to my friends and say, I'm really grateful for you guys that you like the post, because honestly, I'm not fully associated from the amount of people that view my content. And so it's nice that you guys like what I do. Thank you for the moral support, and it is true. It really did make a difference to me, and I hope to them as well. And in that sense, while it was hard to consistently be authentic and consistently create, I'm glad that this challenge had kind of paved the way to expand that comfort zone. And it's a really important part of being a creative, and it really did help in considering this work as a full-time thing. And it's a privilege, and I'm grateful for every moment of the challenge and for every moment that I get to create. I'm truly grateful and privileged for all of this. But I'll stop with what I learned with the 100-day challenge for now. I mean, for this video, so that we can save some for the last video. Lol. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that whenever you're sharpening a skill or learning a new skill, you'd remember to understand that learning a skill is a lifelong process, and so it's okay if you're taking a little more time to learn. But I'd like to end there. If you like my work, or if you'd like to follow along, do follow me on my Instagram at Charlotte Pourquoi. Charlotte_Pourquoi. Anyways, bye!